Is he potentially the most important non-quarterback in the league?
He'd be right up there. A lot of people may not remember when he came out of BYU, he had never been a stacked linebacker in college. And the fact that he made that transition so quickly and became a great player quickly, a remarkable tribute to just his intelligence, not just the player, but the person.
Hey, Greg, just confirm for me, it looks like you're wearing a little bit of a pullover there. Is it black? Is that black or is that dark blue?
No, it's black. I'm in my Johnny Cash outfit today. It's all black.
I assume that is to pay homage to your bromance, Fred Warner, and the fact that he is out for the year.
I got to tell you, that really, I almost burst into tears when I saw that. And I'm being honest here. I mean, that guy he's one of my favorite players that I've watched. And, I'm probably jaded from doing this for a lot of years, guys, but Fred Warner, just to me, is such a great football player, plays the right way, plays with the right combination of emotion and technique, and plays the right way. I mean, he's just a terrific football player. And I don't know Fred Warner personally at all, but I love the way he plays.
And the fact that he got hurt on a play in which they only had 10 people on the field on defense, honestly, that has to be even more devastating, not only for Fred, but the coaching staff as well.
I know it's, look, it's football, they're still human beings. And I know a lot of people just think, he gets paid a lot of money, so, he'll come back and that's great. But they're still human beings playing out there. And, you hate to see that for anybody, really. I just happen to love Fred Warner as a player. Separate from, of course, being with you guys every week. I've just always loved him as a player. But, it's just, unfortunately, guys do get hurt playing football, and it's one of those things. You just hope it doesn't happen like that, because that's a pretty severe injury.
No doubt. I think 49er fans share the emotions you're expressing, certainly as this happened. But obviously, next man up, onward. What was your review of what the Niners tried to do to replace him, namely with Tatum Bethune?
Who, quite frankly, I thought, when all's said and done, played pretty well. No one is Fred Warner, so I'm not going to sit here and say, it's no problem. But, I thought overall that Bethune played well. He was active. He was aggressive playing downhill. He played with some quickness and competitiveness in the run game. He showed some stack and shed strength and power, taking on climbing offensive linemen. What you're not going to get, and what Warner may have been the absolute best in the league at, was zone pass defense. His ability to read routes, play with depth when necessary, get underneath crossers and the routes that are behind him was unparalleled. He was as good as there was in the league doing that. I'm not going to sit here and say Bethune can never do that, but it's not likely that he'll be able to do it anywhere near at the level that Fred Warner can. And in the context of the 49ers offense, which tends to be more zone than man, that's a trait that was really, really important to how they play.
So when you look at the film, not only after Warner left, but before, and you look at them being bottom 3 in blitz percentage and bottom 2 in pressure rate and QB hits and the rest of it, when you look at the film, what is the defense lacking, and how do they go about trying to either scheme up more pressure or just try to play a little bit softer in general?
Well, I think you kind of answered your question. Right now, they're not a blitzing defense.
Right.
They're not a pressure defense. And, it's always easy to say, let's pressure more, but a couple of things have to happen for that to be the case. Number one, you have to have players who you feel are good blitzers. That's a trait. You can't just say, okay, we're going to blitz. You have to feel that guys know how to do that. They have a sense of timing, that they work off others. A blitz is not just one guy. There's a scheme involved in blitzing. Okay, so it's not just one guy that say, okay, you're gonna rush the quarterback, and then you have to feel good about how you're playing on the back end, because somewhere along the line, not 100% of the time, but a higher percentage than not, there has to be some kind of matchup element. It doesn't have to be pure man, but there has to be a matchup element where you match receivers somewhere along the line.
And is that what happened, Greg, toward the end of the first half, where they blitzed out and Huff drops into the hook to curl short zone, and then you had Johnson wide open down the field? When you look at that play, it looked like...
Are you talking about the Cam Johnson 34-yard touchdown?
Exactly. It looked like they brought a blitz from one side and they dropped into a zone coverage on the other side. What'd you see there?
Well, that was what happened is they just did not react to the motion. Johnson motioned across the formation. No defensive back reacted to that motion. So what you eventually had, guys, is you had two receivers to the boundary side of the formation, and there was only one defender there. The corner to that side, which is the left corner. So I believe that the left corner is normally green. So there was only one corner there. No one reacted to the motion. So now what happened was, and I believe it was green. I'm actually looking at it right now. It might have been Lenore, but the point is that he then matched the receiver to that side as if he was playing man on him, and then Johnson just ran down the sideline. There was no other defender there. So he was just free. So it was clearly a bust. It was probably a pre-snap bust because no one reacted to the motion.
Greg, this might be speculative, and I know that you don't like that, but I'm gonna take a whirl here because
all right.
Well, we've talked a lot about Kyle Shanahan's scheme and how, for example, for young wide receivers, it's very complicated, right? It's a lot for them to take on, and therefore it's a lot for them to succeed right away in that system. I wonder what you see in Robert Saleh's defense with so much talk now about the Niners making acquisitions at the trade deadline. Is it the type of a defense where somebody might be able to come in and contribute right away, or do you think that there might be kind of a steep learning curve there too?
Well, it depends who it is. If it's a veteran who's been around, don't forget what Saleh is doing. Every defense, just like every offense, has its own specific set of things, the way it's taught, the way it's expected to be played. But it's not like Robert Saleh is doing something that no one else has ever seen and no one else has ever done. So if a veteran who has familiarity with the general principles and concepts of the system is brought in, then he can come in and play. If you're bringing in a second-year player who doesn't have that experience through the league, then it's a different situation. But, I would guess that they are looking. Look, Mustafa's back now. He'll probably be a starter.
Yep.
The other touchdown that happened was the rookie Siegel was a post safety, and he made a mistake. You can't, if you're the post safety, you can't get beat to the post. I mean, it's simple as that. There's not a lot of complexity to that. So, obviously Pinnock did not play this week. They put Brown in. So I think they're kind of searching on the back end for the players that they feel can best execute what they want done. So we'll see. And obviously the pass rush is certainly a factor right now. They're not really able to rush the quarterback with 4 right now.
Yeah, 7 sacks on the season, which is second to last in football, and no interceptions from the secondary in totality. So that continues to be a major problem. But I want to go on the other side of the ball and look forward, Greg, because we saw Atlanta on Monday night, and they are number 1 in the league in blitz percentage, and you've got a Niner offensive line that has been inconsistent at times. What have you seen from the Niner O-line, especially this past weekend, in terms of pass protection?
Well, I'm just going to say that the Falcons' defense is really fun to watch because these guys, they blitz a lot. They play a ton of man coverage. Jeff Ulbrich does a phenomenal job with his pressure schemes. He gets people free. And that's one of those things in the NFL where I remember years ago when I did the book that I did with Ron Jaworski, and I had a chance to spend a lot of time with Dick LeBeau with numerous conversations. He always said, hey, it's the NFL. You don't get guys free. You're looking for matchups, when you blitz. And what the Falcons have done exceptionally well, and I give credit to Jeff Ulbrich for how he schemes it, is they're getting free hitters at the quarterback. But getting now to your question, I think the O-line has been struggling. I don't think that's a profound, in some ways it's a Captain Obvious statement. I don't think I'm telling you guys anything that fans watching don't know. That's a reality. I mean, that does mean something. It may not be, a profound statement, but I think the interior 3 are struggling in particular. Puni did not have a good game this week. I don't think Brendel's played as well as he's had in the past. So I think ultimately it's a concern. But But going a step further, I came away from watching the offensive tape. I felt Mac Jones played a great game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really felt he played, given the situation, given that he was under pressure quite a bit, I thought he played at a really, really high level in this game.
Will you take our listeners through the 2 interceptions, especially, there was that story from the sideline reporter that Kendrick Bourne was on the sideline saying that first interception was on him. But what did you see on the 2 picks from Mac?
Well, again, I can tell you what I saw and what I think happened, and because I don't know 100%,
right.
So I'm not going to be one of those guys that say, I know and this is what happened. I mean, ultimately, what the Bucs did is they went late rotation to cover 2, okay? So that means that they were not in cover 2 at the snap of before the snap, but the picture changed right at the snap, and it became cover 2. So what happened is the corner, Wilder, who made the pick, he became a cover 2 trap corner. What that means is he was just sitting low in the flat. And what happened is Bourne, he may have been aware of Vildor, so instead of breaking outside, which is where Mac threw the football, he then pivoted back inside. Now, I don't know if Bourne saw Vildor and changed his route, or if there was just a miscommunication from the get-go. I don't know that. But the bottom line is they changed the picture pre-snap to post-snap. It became cover 2, and therefore Vildor was basically sitting in the flat right on the outside in trap corner position. And that's where Mac threw the ball.